Welcome to Founders Future, a podcast powered by Closers.io, where we dive into the journeys of innovative entrepreneurs and explore the road ahead of them and their companies. I'm your host, Olivia Salmons, and in each episode, we'll uncover the stories behind impactful ventures, the challenges faced along the way, and the strategies driving their future growth. Today, I'm very excited to be joined by Teresa Funk, holistic nutrition coach and founder of Rejuvenate Mind Body Nutrition. Teresa works with women who are looking to improve their health, balance their hormones, and build sustainable lifestyle habits through holistic nutrition and wellness strategies. Her approach combines nutrition education, fitness, and lifestyle coaching to help clients take control of their health and create long-term transformations. Teresa, welcome to Founders Future. Thank you so much for joining me here today.
Thanks for having me. I really appreciate this.
No, it's a pleasure to have you here, and I'm very much excited to dive in and learn a little bit more about your journey. Teresa, with all of my guests, I do like to start at the beginning. So if you don't mind briefly taking me back to what it was you was doing before you started up Rejuvenate Mind Body Nutrition. And then from there, what was the motivation behind it?
Oh, for sure. So I actually started a business back in 2007, 2008, basically just getting up the fitness end of things. So becoming a
Nice.
personal trainer. But before that, I actually was an elite competitor, figure competitor, with taking two first place wins in British Columbia and as well as a fifth place Canadian national win in Canada. That actually built a ton of credibility for my business, my fitness business. So I started there and then it just unraveled and unfolded in such a beautiful way. And it really humbled me because I knew nothing about growing a business. I didn't go to business school.
Mhm.
So I just naturally started this business because people were coming up to me and they're like, hey, what are you doing? I love what you're doing. Can you train me? And I'm like, yeah, okay, sure. Got certified as a personal trainer and business started booming and taking off from there. And word of mouth, and then being very well known in my community,
Yeah.
again, just built a lot of exposure to bring in that client retention. But however, I started noticing a bit of an issue with my female clients because I was training a lot of women in their 40s and 50s, and I wasn't in my 40s and 50s at that time. I was mid 30s, okay? And so I'm so happy that I inspired these beautiful women and they worked so hard, they trained hard, but there was still a missing puzzle piece with what was going on for them. So basically, I started to understand that the nutritional aspect was a little bit more, that needed a bit more attention because there's a misconception about women in that age group about you gotta eat less, you gotta work out more. And that could be further from the truth because in reality, hormonal changes can influence your metabolism, and stress levels, stress response, sleep, and how the body processes energy. So, women in this demographic, I would say between 40 and 65, really definitely need a more thoughtful and supportive approach that factors into all of that.
Yes, I could not agree more. And I feel like obviously going backwards a little bit, thank you so much for sharing that journey. Obviously, I know sports and business in my mind go very well together. So the fact that you've obviously managed to get to that heights, you have that underlying kind of essence of an entrepreneur. Just need to obviously learn the skills as you go through it, which is a really cool aspect. But I feel like the discipline and everything, I performed at sports at a high level, and for me, I didn't realize how much I'd learned from that until I entered the world of business and kind of translated to other people and was like, oh, I have a little bit more than what some people have just by being in sports for so long and building up a discipline for myself. So naturally from there, and then as you're saying, when you do hit a certain age in women, obviously the menopause appears, and I feel like there's not enough knowledge out there on how much nutrition, exercise, whatever can really impact your body and make it a much sustainable process moving forward and really be in control of everything else. So with all that being said, I suppose let's dive into the business a little bit more and take it from there. So at this point in, who would you say is your ideal client? Who is it that you very much love to work with the most? And then from there, how is it you help them? And how do you support them along their own journey?
Definitely. So, my demographic for the last, I would say 14 years, I've been in this industry now for 18 years,
Yeah.
is between 40 and 65 years of age. That's my demographic of women. I went back to school and I got certified as a board certified registered holistic nutritionist within British Columbia in Canada. And then I also went back and got my lifestyle menopause coaching practitioners
Nice.
certification as well, because again, it was deeper in, yes, the nutrition, but I needed these women to also understand the physiology of what was happening during these each phase of menopause, whether that's perimenopause, menopause, postmenopause, and coming to that stage of life. Women are very vulnerable, and they're vulnerable to so many different things happening at the time as the physiology changes. So that is the demographic of women I entirely work with.
Yeah, I love it. And vulnerability is a great word to use it. And I feel like there's just not enough knowledge about what is gonna go through or what they have to go through when they get to that point. So even just like providing them with that safe space where they can learn about themselves, learn about the journey they're gonna go through, must be a big asset to the clients that you're working with.
Oh, absolutely. I feel it brings a nice quality, and it also brings a lot of a good curiosity. But how do I say this? When you're explaining the why to the client or to the patient, there brings just this a kind of leveling up of
Yeah.
motivation to change. Because often we're so handed an RX or just do this and just do that without the explanation. So when women understand the why, these clients are just like, oh my goodness, I had no idea. That makes so much more sense.
Yeah.
I'm going to do this then. You know what I mean? So it's so
100%.
inspiring seeing that from them, exuding from them. It's like the excitement, the light bulb moments.
Yeah, it's the haha moments. I know exactly what you mean, and it is just that understanding of what they're going to go through. Because I feel like a big part of, especially women when they are taking part in exercise, is the overwhelm that comes with it. Like you mentioned yourself, they get told they should diet, they should exercise every day, hit the cardio, very much restrict their life, and that's
Mhm.
not necessarily it. The other half they have to deal with at the moment is obviously all the noise that's going on online. You know, that shiny object syndrome, the instant gratification, the bikini bodies that just aren't going to serve you well moving forward, especially if you are looking for sustainable health starting in your 30s with that same process you're providing to women that are a little bit later down the line will just serve them
Right.
so much better. So, like, how is it you work with your clients? What is your style or your approach to coaching?
Yeah, so generally, I've created a 90-day women's wellness weight loss hormone program, and women can come and they will do an intake with me, a complimentary consultation, just to see where they're at and to see if we're the right fit as
Nice.
well, and as if program is right for them. So there, I would explain what I would do in program with them, the trajectory of where they're at and where we're going to go towards, and explain to them how they're going to have that ability to lose weight with me, feel better in their body, have less joint pain, sleep better. Because, oh my gosh, it's unfortunate, but a lot of women struggle with sleep during that time too. So, sleep, more energy, weight loss for sure, less hair fallout or maybe completely gone, and as well as restoring metabolism and just bringing the body back to homeostasis. So, we just go through a whole process and then we take it from there. And during the 90 days, we do one-on-one sessions. I also do group coaching with women who want to do more in a group setting. I usually take about 5 or 6 women on at one time, and it builds a nice community for them because they don't feel like they're doing it alone, but other people like it more private, so I do offer both.
Nice. So you can actually say meet them where they're at. I love the aspect of a group. I do think it brings a great community, as you say, like a tribal union as well. Especially if you are going through the menopause, it can be it's quite taboo subject, so it's not often spoken about. So it's nice to be in a group of women that are going through a very similar process and obviously building your own relationships along the way, which is a really cool aspect. So in the 90 days, and then you mentioned before, obviously a very holistic approach to health. So I take it you're looking at obviously the fitness, the nutrition, and everything else go alongside that.
Yeah, definitely. I think I explain it like a trilogy. Like the top is being on top of the triangle is the tipping point of that's where the nutritional aspect, that's where we
Nice.
look at everything. It's 85% is what we eat and how what we're eating and knowing
Yeah.
how we're eating. And then we go to the other parts of that triangle and we're looking at the body movement as well as lifestyle applications and what's going on underneath the hood, if you will,
Yeah.
what's going on behind the scenes for them emotionally, because that is a big puzzle that we
Love
often
it.
just think, oh, I don't need that. I just need the nutrition and fitness, and I'm good. But it doesn't work that way.
No, I love that. Yeah, so you're taking the mind into consideration, very much aligning themselves, making sure they're comfortable moving forward, which is a big key to that. One
Yes.
thing I'm very curious to find out, and actually it's a very noisy world at the moment. So like how do you go about acquiring your customers? So like in terms of channels or methods, like what are you really finding most effective at the moment in finding those right people to work with?
Yeah, definitely. That's a really great question. Basically, most of my clients are coming from word of mouth, which is the
Mhm.
ultimate compliment for how I work with women. But honestly, maybe 1% are coming from my website, a bit of social media, but not much. So it's really entirely relies on the word of mouth aspect.
Yeah, word of mouth, and I suppose referrals bundling into that as well. It just shows, as you say, kudos to the work that you are doing and building on top of that. When it comes to obviously social media, do you utilize it in this form of lead gen, or is it more of just to get your name out there and make sure people like see and know who you are?
Honestly, that is probably one of my biggest challenges is like trying to convert clients from that visibility of social platforms. Doing this work and then trying to wear all the hats of doing all the
Yeah.
technical stuff, the marketing stuff, it's extremely very overwhelming. I'm sure many practitioners or led businesses that are just alone, practitioner alone, working sorry, with themselves is it can be very overwhelming trying to do all the things. No, I wouldn't say there's been a time where I concentrated a lot on social media, but I do have to admit I pulled back, and I wouldn't say give up, but definitely I'm just keeping that visibility there because things are changing all the time. So you learn something and then also you got to learn something new in about 2 minutes after that.
Yeah, so
And
true.
so it without getting burnt out, I'm still trying to figure out what is the best way for me to convert visibility into
Yeah.
lead generation and quality leads too, because that's the other thing. Quality leads are very important.
100%. And it is such a, as you say, as a solo founder, there are so many jobs you have to do. So it's more of taking your foot off the gas of those jobs you don't need to always prioritize all the time. And obviously, working on your client facing is that number one job. So sticking there and then obviously when you can getting to the other parts of it. But I feel like a lot of founders do struggle in that essence, especially if you haven't had business experience coming in. You're very much learning on the job as well as you go. So juggling all those nuances, all the changing within the algorithm, it can be a lot and it can be overwhelming. Like I fully understand. And I really get it.
Yeah.
And do you have a team or anyone that is there to help support or maybe alleviate some of those hats from you?
No, right now my business is largely
So,
practitioner led by myself and directly just working through clients with consultation and programs. Yeah.
and then I suppose with all that being said, like what is your vision or your ambitions for the company moving forward? Maybe when you think of the next 6 to 12 months, what are the goals or the targets you're looking forward to achieving?
Yeah, well, currently, right now, I'm actually working and I'm just finishing up a book that I'm working on. And basically, yeah, so that's what
Oh,
I'm currently really working on right now. And I just also want to mention that I do work for some clinics restoring GI restoration as well as metabolic
cool.
health. So that does help with a little bit more exposure. I have also worked for some telehealth companies working again with people's metabolic health and hormone transitions and stuff like that. Yeah, so currently I am working on a book, and it's about metabolic shift that happens during menopause and how women can reset their metabolism, lose weight naturally using practical solutions instead of feeling like their body is working against them. So it's the book is called How to Lose Weight After Menopause Without Using GLP-1s as drugs and
Mm,
medications, because as GLP-1 medications are on the rise. So I wanted to put something out there that would give women hope that they don't need to resort to that. I'm not saying that that's medication is bad or anything, because it definitely is needed, but it can definitely feel like that's the way that we're going. And I wanted to get the word out there that there's other ways to do things holistically if women want an alternative way of losing weight naturally.
yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. And as you said, there's nothing wrong with using medications. I think using them responsibly is the best way forward, especially when it does come to CP1, like CLP1s, and not the most regulated at the moment, and pretty much anyone is prescribing them for the wrong reasons. So it is just a matter of finding what suits you and moving on from there. But I like that aspect to it. As you say, holistic and the longevity that comes from the holistic approach as well is not matched. You can't keep doing medications forever, so you need to find a sustainable way to just help yourself moving forward. And Teresa, where are you probably finding the biggest challenge for yourself at the moment, either within the business or taking those next steps for yourself?
The biggest challenge right now has just again been converting visibility and consistent client growth.
Yeah.
Like many practitioner led businesses, I've worn many hats over the years working with clients while trying to also keep up the marketing, the technology, the content creation. So just really finding ways to attract consistent, high quality leads without burning myself out. Without that has just been the ongoing challenge I've
Yeah.
experienced always. Because back in the day when I first started business, back in 2008, I was doing tutorials in the newspaper. I was marketing myself in the newspaper back when we were reading newspapers,
Yeah.
but that all changed. So, yeah, it's been an interesting learning curve.
Yeah, it has. And then I think the field of marketing, like especially before COVID, it was a slightly slower pivoting and you could catch the train when you could. But since then it's been a behemoth. Like you it is literally, as you say, every 5 minutes you're snapping your neck following the ball around. It's a crazy experience. So yeah, just staying on top of that and hopefully getting some help along the way would be a great asset. And Teresa, I have one final question for you before we log out. So, if you could go back in time to a younger self and you could only leave yourself with one piece of advice moving forward, something you know now, but that you didn't know back then, what would you say to yourself?
Yeah, I would say don't try to build everything at once. Getting really clear on who and who you want to help and how you want to help, your clients or whoever that is, and keep coming back to that. And then also understanding client pain points really well, because that's where your best marketing, I believe, is going to be wrapped around is pain points. People obviously know that when they've taken business courses, but if you've never done business, like I never had a business background, I didn't understand that right away. And it took some time to really think about, oh yeah, pain points, of course. We intuitively think about it, but to actually speak it and to write on that,
Yeah.
and to expose that is a completely different thing.
It is. And it goes against a lot of people's grains as well. So, like, I don't want to bring pain out of people, but it's more playing on the emotion of pain. As you say, you want to affect them in a way and to make them remember you with your marketing, which I suppose is
Yeah,
another
yeah.
aspect moving forward. And Teresa, thank you so much for joining me today and for sharing your incredible journey and insight with us. Where can our listeners reach out best to work with you or connect with you if they would like to do
Yeah,
so?
definitely. People can reach me through all my socials, like LinkedIn for sure, Facebook, as well as my website, rejuvenatenutrition.ca. And my book is launching for May the 1st, which they'll be able to find on Amazon.
Amazing stuff. And thank you again for joining me. I really appreciate your time today.
Yeah,
And
thank
to our
you.
listen no, and to our listeners, if you enjoyed today's episode, please be sure to go and check out Teresa Funk, as she said, on LinkedIn, Facebook, drop her a message, check out the website. I'm sure she would love to hear from everybody. And do not forget to subscribe to Founders Future via wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. And if you are a business owner, specifically a coach, consultant, or agency owner, and you're really looking to scale your business and you want to enhance your sales and marketing efforts, visit closers.io to hop on a call with one of our team and discover how we went from zero to $30 million per year in less than 3 years. But until then, keep on climbing and we'll see you on the next one.